had come to Canada, and with it a happiness and contentment had settled over the countryside. Everywhere people were laughing and singing. Everywhere except in the Mountie camp. It started one day when Dudley Do-Right entered Inspector Fenwick's office.
Inspector Fenwick. He's gone, disappeared.
What is the matter, Dudley?
Inspector Fenwick has met with foul play. You know the inspector never goes any place without his hat.
My daddy? Oh, what shall we do?
We shall organize a search party.
And so the entire detachment set off to find their beloved inspector. Meanwhile, in the back room of Snidely Whiplash's miserable shack, cowed, beaten, dejected, was Snidely Whiplash himself.
Well, who did you expect, Inspector Fenwick?
You seem depressed today, Snidely.
True, all my life I've been outwitting the Mounties, and where has it gotten me? This miserable shack in the Canadian redwoods.
Oh, it's not so bad, Snidely.
Working my fingers to the bone, the bridges I've blown up, the mortgages I've foreclosed, the women I've tied to railroad tracks, and what does it amount to? A miserable shack in the Canadian redwoods, in the low-rent district.
Gee, Snidely, I never heard you talk this way before.
Homer, something's gone out of me. I can't get any real zing in my leers anymore. Look.
Pretty sad.
And my laugh, he, hasn't got the zonk it used to have.
No zing and no zonk, huh?
No zing or zonk. I'm going to step aside, Homer. Let a younger man take over my place. I'm going to turn myself over to the Mounties.
Gee, Snidely, it just breaks my heart to hear you talk this way.
Well, Homer, when you ain't got that zonk, life just ain't worth it.
And so the arch-villain trudged into the deserted Mountie post.
Take me, I'm yours. Snidely Whiplash himself. Put on the derbies and... It's strange. There's no one here over whom to turn myself over. How do I look, Homer? Let's see. Dudley Do-Right, come in here.
You sent for me, sir? Oh, good to have you back, sir. We've all been worried. Searched the entire countryside.
But I'm not the inspector. Do you think we can get away with it, Homer?
Why not?
Nell, your daddy has returned.
Why, that's not my daddy.
I know, Nell, he doesn't look the same, but how could he after the ordeal he's been through?
Ordeal?
Dudley, I want you to lock up Nell in the stockade. That's an order.
Yes, sir, Inspector Fenwick. And may I say, sir, it's good to have you back. Come along, Nell.
Dudley Do-Right, you are a nut.
What Dudley didn't know was that Inspector Fenwick wasn't lost at all. He had just stepped out for a haircut.
It's good to know I can pop away for a bit. With Dudley Do-Right in charge, I have nothing to worry about. Camptown ladies, sing this song, Do-Right, Do-Right, dim-dim-dim-dim. Do-Right, can't I leave the camp for a minute without returning to utter chaos?
And whom are you?
What do you mean, whom am I? I'm Inspector Fenwick.
You, Inspector Fenwick? Impossible. I'm locking you up for impersonating an officer and being out of uniform.
Out of uniform?
Where's your hat, soldier?
Oh, I've got to get that hat back so it'll come to his senses.
And the inspector began to tunnel his way out of the stockade. Meanwhile,
Dudley, I've got a very important assignment for you. I want you to reroute the mail train from point A, where it goes around the gorge, to point B, which goes directly over the gorge.
But there are no tracks over the gorge, sir.
Dudley, don't you see? That'll speed up the mail delivery.
Oh, yes, sir.
We must stop Snidely and his fiendish plan.
There, how's that, Inspector?
Fine, Dudley, just fine. The train should be coming along now.
We're just in time, Nell. We can prevent the train from going over the gorge.
The only problem is that we are on the other side of the gorge.
You're right. All is lost. I've failed.
You haven't failed, Father. We can still prevent the train from going over the gorge.
How, Nell?
By doing what every red-blooded Canadian girl would do in a similar case as this. We'll build a trestle across the gorge.
Curses!
Oh, you mustn't do that to your hat, Inspector.
I'll take that hat, Dudley. Notice anything familiar about me, Do-Right?
Why, you are Inspector Fenwick. Then who is that other chap?
Oh, never mind, Dudley, never mind.
Hey, what's so funny, Snidely? You didn't get the plunder or the mail train?
But one thing I did get, Homer.
And that is?
My zonk!